Good day everyone, today I will walk you through the basic steps on how to properly disassemble a desktop computer. This is a fundamental skill for anyone studying computer hardware, troubleshooting, or repair the computer. We remove the side panel of the case. This is usually done by unscrewing a few screws at the back of the CPU casing. Gently slide or lift the panel off, expose the internal component. Inside the case, we locate the power supply cables. Carefully unplug the main power connector from the motherboard as well as other power connectors attached to the hard drive, CPU, and other components. And now, we carefully remove the CPU fan. This may require unscrewing or unclipping it from the motherboard. Be gentle and avoid damaging the processor beneath. Next, we remove the ROM sticks. To do this, gently push down the clips on the both ends of the ROM slot and the ROM module will pop up, then pull it out carefully. Now we detach the hard disk first, unplug the SATA data and power cables. Then unscrew the hard disk from its mounting tray or bracket and slide it out. If necessary, we can also remove the other side panel of the case. This gives us better access to hidden cables or screws, especially those connected to the motherboard and the hard disk. And finally, we're here. We remove the motherboard. Make sure all connected cables or components are unplugged. Then unscrew the motherboard from the case assemblies and gently lift it out. And that's it. We have now successfully disassembled the main components of the desktop computer. Now that we've finished disassembling the PC, let's move on to the process of assembling the components back together. This process requires attention to detail to ensure each part is correctly connected. Before installation, we do some basic flexing or checking the cables of the units to make sure they're not damaged or bent. This includes power cable, SATA cable, and internal wires. We flex the power supply unit by ensuring all the connectors are completely and not loose. We double check the switch is off before connecting to any device. Next is the CPU. Before placing into the motherboard, we examine the CPU pins and socket alignment. Never touch the bottom of the CPU to avoid damaging the pins. Before installing, we also check the ROM module. To ensure it's clean and not bent, we line it up with the DIMM slot on the motherboard. When the CPU already installed, we attach the CPU fan directly on the top. We screw it down and lock it in place. To connect the fan's power cable to the CPU fan header on the motherboard. we inspect the hard disk before installation. We make sure the connectors are clean and undamaged. And we plug the SATA cable and power cable into the hard disk and connect the other end to the motherboard and power supply. And that's how we assemble the main parts of the desktop computer. This stage focuses on putting all components together inside the system unit in the proper order. First, we install motherboard into the case. We align it with a stand-up screw, then screw it in securely to make sure it doesn't move. This serves as the base for all the components. Next, we place the power supply unit in its slot, usually at the top or bottom of the case. We don't connect the cables yet. We just position the PSU units and set the cables aside for later connection. Then, we insert the hard disk into its mounting bracket or tray. One in place, we connect the SATA cable to the motherboard and the SATA power cable from the power supply to the hard disk. Now, we carefully place the CPU unit into the socket on the motherboard. We align the golden triangle mark, place it gently and locking it using the retention arm. Next, we take the ROM and align it with the slot. We press it down firmly until the clips on both sides click and lock it in place. We place the CPU pawn directly on the top of the processor. It either screw or clip into place depending on the fan. Then, connect fan's cable on the CPU fan header on the motherboard. And here, finally, we take the 24-pin main power cable and the 8-pin CPU power cable from the power supply unit and plug them into the corresponding socket on the motherboard. This completes the power connection. we're done. We're going to put it back the case of the PC to ensure the units are safe. And that's the full process of assembling a desktop PC, starting from the motherboard to the final cable connections. Once everything is secure, we can test the unit by powering it on and checking all if the components work correctly. Thank you once again. I hope you learned something valuable about PC assembly.